we all know, usually Hashem wants us to act naturally, everything with nature. Not to say, I'm sure I'll have a miracle and be saved. Usually that's the way it goes. In Chanukah, we see something else. A small group of yeshiva boys went to fight the world empire and won. This is not usually how things go. So, what happened? Why over here was different? We see in the Rosh, one of the big Rishonim, in the beginning of second parak in Maseches Tainis, we see a very important point. When people put themselves on the side, break their own nature, because naturally a person cares about himself. A person puts himself on the side to help his nation, to save his nation. He put himself on the side for others. He's breaking his nature for others. Because naturally he thinks about himself. He put himself on the side for others. Hashem says, if so, you're putting yourself on the side for others, you're breaking your nature for others, I'm going to make miracles. It doesn't have to go with nature anymore. What happened over here was, when people are willing, Meiser Nefesh it's called, to put their lives on the side, to help the nation, Hashem helps with tremendous miracles. It's called midah keneged midah. It means the way you do, Hashem gives you the same. Someone does a chesed, helps someone else. When it comes his time, he needs help, Hashem will help him. The same idea, he puts himself on the side, breaks his nature for his nation. Hashem makes also, nature can't bother him. It's not fair, but nature should bother him from doing so, because he broke his nature. That's Pashup Pshat, as they call it. There's something though very deep also going on. If we take it, we can know a lot what's going on in the world. You listen to the radio, you look in the newspaper, you know what's going on in the world. But let's observe in ourselves to understand ourselves. I mean to say is, how do we work emotionally? A person has 4 parts. A person does things, says things, thinks about things, and wants certain things. What happens is, when you want something, it pops up in your brain, and you think about it. Because you want it, you're thinking about it. When you think a lot about it, next step is you talk about that subject. The next thing is he wants to do. For example, someone likes pizza. Having pizza is something special. He wants the pizza, he's hungry and he wants pizza. So what is he thinking about? Pizza. What does he talk about his friends? Where's the best pizza shop? And the next thing is he goes to get one, he eats one. So there's wanting, thinking, talking, doing. The deepest part of the person is what he wants. When you want, you think about that. That's the way it goes. The same thing also in serving Hashem. The deepest part is the wanting. I want to be good. I want to do what Hashem says is good. I want. The wanting is the deepest part. When a person has difficulties and he overcomes the difficulties, he doesn't get broken by his difficulties. He overcomes them. It shows how much he wants. So, when the difficulties, and they don't care, they're going to do everything they could, they want to continue as a Jew. It shows how much they want. When you want very strongly, Hashem gives trials. Do you really want different trials? If you stay strong, Hashem helps you get out of this. It's in all different kind of ways. We see Yosef had trials from his master. She was making him crazy. Again and again and again and again. Did she put him in jail if he's not going to listen to her to marry her? He wouldn't break. No, I want to be righteous. I want to be a tzaddik. I want to do the right thing. I don't want to be with you. He held out years in jail because of it. I'm not going. Look at my new dress. I'm not looking at you. I'm not allowed. I'm not going to look at you. I'm not to do with you. And then he became mighty. He became a king. He became great. Trials are there to be overcome. Now I want to tell you something real scary, as they say, and it's not so famous. We have the Sefer HaZohar HaKodesh. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Holy Tana of Shimon Bar Yochai, different secrets, different things that are going on, real scary things. In the Zohar, Parashat Achimos, page Samaches, it says something real shocking. It says, what is going to be before Mashiach comes? There's going to be great difficulties, especially someone that only wants to learn Torah. There's going to be monetary difficulties. There's going to be monetary difficulties, and so on. Says, you know who told Rabbi Shimon? It's a whole explanation. It says over there, Moshe Rabbeinu's neshama. All of a sudden they heard a voice in Bismillah, the whole thing. By Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, what's going to be? They're going to have difficulties. Someone that wants, especially only learning Torah, doesn't want nothing else, they're going to try to cut down on the money he deserves. All the kind of things. Open Zohar. Well, there's a more in the Zohar in Parshas Bereshis, Daf Chofei. It says that before Mashiach comes, we'll come back to Israel, like we did. And the people in charge are going to be called Jews, but their neshama is actually a neshama from Amalek. And they're going to want to uproot, look at that, unbelievable. They're going to want to uproot in Bereshis Daf Chofei, in the old pages of this, the new pages, the old, in the middle it says the old pages. And they're going to want to uproot the Torah and this and that. That's one group. Another group, it says, is going to be people that they only want to help the Arabs. They don't want to help the brothers, the Jews. And interesting, huh? Interesting things. So, it says with another group. There's going to be people who, that generation is going to be people who are really into bad things, or Gilead Rice and these kind of things. And they're going to be always talking against religious people. All the kind of interesting things. Amazing. It's everything that's going on now. It's all there in the Zohar, you know? So it says over there in the Zohar that before Mashiach comes, so, thank you so much. Tzadar Rabba. Before Mashiach comes, so we're going to be back here. And the ones in charge are going to want to stop any money that comes into yeshivas, all kind of things like that. Real shocking. And these are things what said the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu, over here a voice by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, amazing, saying exactly what's happening now. This is already by us over 2,000 years. Now, says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, so what is our job in that difficult time? Says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, it's a pasuk. Lulei terascha shashuai, oz avarti ba'ani. What does that mean? If it wouldn't be the fact that I sit and enjoy my learning, just not to enjoy it, shashuai, if it wouldn't be for the fact that I'm enjoying my learning, I would have gotten lost in the difficulties of monetary difficulties and other difficulties of the time before Mashiach comes. We see, it's open pasuk, lulei terascha shashua. It means if not for the fact I could sit and enjoy the Torah, oz avarati, I would be lost be'ani, with the monetary difficulties and other difficulties before Mashiach comes. Interesting. But why dafka the enjoyment? What's up with the enjoyment over here? What's the specialty of the enjoyment? Terascha shashua, the enjoying the learning. Why is it so important enjoying the learning? Because what's the strongest part of the person is the most internal inside is his wanting, what he wants. So when you want, you enjoy. Someone doesn't like pizza, I'll take half a bite, it's not for me. Didn't come out good this time. You're not gonna eat it. If you enjoy, If you it shows that you want it. Someone that wants pizza enjoys his pizza. Someone that wants his Torah enjoys his Torah. When you really want it, Hashem gives you the power to overcome the difficulties. You want it. There's difficulties to test you out. Are you going to break? Or you continue to want? So we see that a very important issue nowadays is the enjoying the learning. In time of Chanukah, the Greeks wanted to destroy this internal part of every Jew that knows something about Yiddishkeit, wants to be good. It's amazing. I once was a taxi driver. He looked very happy. In the first glance, I wasn't sure if he's Jewish. And afterwards, I realized he's a Jew. I told him, all Jews are brothers. So I spoke up, I told him, I was so happy. You look happy. So I'm happy you're happy. Could you tell what you're happy about? He said like this. He's a bit traditional from the house, he says. And he knows he's supposed to be a good, honest Jew. He owed someone money, and the guy forgot that he owes it. From his own goodwill, because he believes in Hashem, he gave that money. He feels so good about it, he says. Amazing. He feels so good about it. That's why he looks so happy. I'm so proud of him, Every Jew has something to do with Judaism in some way. He wants. You see, he wants. There's a goodwill over there. The Greeks wanted to break this. How do you do it? How do you break it? They tried to make a psychology way of how to uproot one's own will. How do you do that? They made people that the Jew should write on his own door, the front door to his house, have nothing to do with Hashem. The Jew should write on his own door if you're not going to kill him. He has nothing to do with on the door. What do you get by this? Every time he comes in, he sees he wrote on the door, it's nothing to do with Hashem. Psychology, again, knocking in. They used to then plow with cows and things on the horns of the cow that to write the same thing and nothing to do with Hashem. They tried different ways to uproot the goodwill of a Jew. When Hashem knocked them down, the outcome was the opposite. Where do you light Chanukah licht? In the doorway. Once they had to write in the doorway, you have nothing to do with Hashem. The opposite. A mezuzah is on one side. Mezuzah. Chanukah candles on the other side. And you have tzitzis, the guys right in the middle. I want to be Jewish with mitzvahs all around me. The opposite. We don't find other mitzvahs that they say you have to be surrounded by mitzvahs. But here they want to knock out of us the goodwill. We have a stronger goodwill. Therefore, something else very interesting. When it comes to the candles of Chanukah, the whole thing is based on how to be more limhadrin, more super special mitzvah, super tzaddik special, trying harder. Actually, one candle is enough. Everyone's lighting 8 because everyone wants to be super special, super good. One candle should be enough, but it's better 8 to give the chance. Each one's building himself up. I want to light 8, not 1. 1 is also yotze. I'm not looking for yotze. I'm looking to be good. I'm looking to be the best. 8. Where are you going to light? Look, if I have an opening to outside, light outside. If I don't have opening to outside in the window, I want to try my best. The best I could. If I can do it outside, I'll do it outside. If not, at least in the window. I'm going to try my best. The whole idea of Chanukah is to build up. I want to try my best. I want to keep trying. I want to keep going up and up and up and up. On one side. On the other side, also, thanking Hashem. Halal. Al Anisim. Todah Rabbah. If someone gives you a present, someone's about to kill you, and he saved your life. Someone to take away all your money, he gave it back. He gave you even more. You have to say thank you. You gotta say thank you. Also physically, we were so suffering from them, and Hashem saved us. Al Anisim, V'al Niflois. Hashem, thank you so much for all the miracles. Thank you for everything you did for us. It's not only thinking about then, but Yamim Mahem, B'zman Hazeh, also now. Each one has his miracles. You should know, I grew up in an Arab village. I don't look like it. My father was a rabbi at Ena Talpiyot in the Itri Yeshiva, and they had a couple of villas over there in the middle of their village. And when I was about 10 years old, so it was my job to bring my younger brother, 5 years old, from kindergarten back home. And we took a shortcut between the trees. And I didn't realize there's a bunch of, I would like to call them cousins, that, from Avram Avinu, who lived in the village over there. So I didn't know, about 20-year-olds, 18, 20-year-olds, climbed up in the trees. That we shouldn't realize our lives are in danger. And we made a shortcut, like a little forest over there, cut through. We didn't know that someone's waiting, trying to kill us. And when we were deep into the trees, a shortcut to go home, all of a sudden I see a bunch of guys jumping down the trees. Each one's far away from each other. And I hear one calling out, Wahad. Wahad is one. Each will take one step in to close in on me and my little brother. Then, second, I realized my life is really in danger over here. I remember it says in the Parsha Shavua, Vayishlach, when Esau wanted to kill Yaakov, he told his kid, I'm going to split you up into 2 groups. If in case one is killed, the other one should stay alive. So as I told my younger brother, what happened was, listen to this, usually, if I remember a story in the middle, they say the name of Shalom Shvadon. There's a reason why you're saying it, why you remembered it. So I stick it in, So that morning, some soldiers knocked on our door, where we lived over there in the village. Knocked on the door, and they gave my father a gun. They said, you're living in the Arab village, you have to have a gun. His father wanted a gun in the house, that's for sure. But good, they forced it on him. So he had one drawer, had a key to it. Then with the kids playing with this, it's not a game, He put it inside a drawer, he locked it up. And anyway, it was right before I left the house to go to school. They knocked the door and they broke the gun. It was that day, not a day before, not a day. It was on that day. And that day we took a shortcut. And they jumped down. I see the closing in on us. I told my little brother, 5 years old, you run home and tell Daddy my life is in danger. They want to kill me. He should come quickly with the gun. Because that morning they got a gun, So my little brother started running. They started running after him. I wanted they should be busy with me. At least he should stay alive. So I run after them. They started monkeying with me. You know what I mean? So my little brother managed to escape. In the meantime, they're all on me. And it was getting worse and worse. I just about wasn't able to breathe anymore. And they were having such a good time. They were so happy that they're about to kill this kid. Unbelievable. They're so laughing and happy. It was unbelievable. But anyway, in the meantime, I saw my life as absolute danger. And I thought in my heart, while everything's going on, Hashem, I'm going to give my whole life to learn Torah and doing mitzvahs. Please just save my life. Amazing. While I'm thinking this in my heart, all of a sudden I hear my father screaming, Tazuto, leave him alone. He's standing with the gun. I don't know if he knew how to use a gun, but he's standing there with the gun, But anyway, each one has his miracles of life. You know what I mean? He's alive. Amazing. Look back in your life when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, different things you went through. How thankful, you have to be thankful to Hashem and everything. And the Nisim Alifloy, thinking of the miracles, of the wonderful things you did, Hashem. Not only at the time of the Greeks, also by Mimahim Bezman, is also now, each one, our times, now, right now, by us. So, also by this, expressing the goodwill, expressing, we're thankful, we say Todah Rabah to Hashem, we say thank you so much and everything, spiritually, physically, in every way. Now, so let's go a little bit into the halachos of Chanukah, to different ideas. We see this concept of what's the best, what's the better, even better, and so on, different ways what to do. So, we already mentioned they build it in a way, whoever has an entrance facing the public and the outside the street, light outside. Because then more people will see it. More people will remember Hashem makes miracles. The more people that see it, the better. It's called Pirsum Nisa, making a lot of people know about the miracle Hashem did for us. If you don't have an outside that's facing a public kind of place, at least light in the window to let people know. If not, put it inside the house, next to the doorway or something inside the house. Now, what's the idea about outside, inside? Explains the Sfat Emet in Shabbat Daf Chaf Aleph. Something very interesting. I remember as a kid, when I lived in America, when you go down a highway, you see a big sign. It says over there, a picture like someone's pouring a bottle of Coke into a cup. You know? And it says over there in English, it says, everyone drinks Coca-Cola. Okay? You go another mile or two, another thing. Again, everyone drinks Coca-Cola. Another mile, again the same thing. Before you know it, the next store you go to get a Coca-Cola. You know? Why? Because there's two things. One thing is, a lot of people see the sign. Another thing is, who are the ones who are drinking Coca-Cola? It's everybody. Knowing who is doing, who's the people who are drinking the Coca-Cola, it's the everybody. So, in advertisement and getting people to know things, a lot of people see, and also you have to know who's it coming from. A lot of people, everybody drinks Coca-Cola. So in advertisement, making people know about things, also let a lot of people see it, and also know who's it coming from. It's coming from everybody drinking Coca-Cola. Similar, Lahavdil, is also by Chanukah candles. Make a lot of people see the miracle. Let a lot of people see it. But also let them know who. You know who's lighting this Chanukah candles? The Cohen family. Goes next building. You know who's lighting the Chanukah over here? The Levy family. The idea is to know who is it coming from. So therefore, if let's say you'll be in a public place, you can't tell who's the one that's doing it, is no good. The more personal, you know who's the one that's doing it, says the Sfat Emet, the better. Because it's part of the let people know is also to know who is doing it. So I know the window, you know who lives over there? The Berkowitz family. They're the ones that are lighting over here. And over there, before you know whether you know the names or not, but you know this family, that family, knowing also who also helps in making it famous. So, for example, what do? You have a dorm. And you have your room where you sleep personally. Usually, the place of eating is more the place you feel that's where your heart is at, because you need food. Sleeping, you sleep anywhere. You can sleep on a bench in the shul, you know? But eating, you need some food to keep going. So a person feels more, a certain extent, he's living in the place he's eating, a certain extent. On the other side, if you want to know personally, who's the guy that's making famous over here? The miracle by the Chanukah candles? When you have the room in the dorm is these boys, these particular sweet guys that sleep in this room. They're the ones that are lighting the Chanukah candles. There's something to it of also who. And therefore, it's more accepted that in the rooms, in the window of your room, people light the candles of Chanukah more than the lunchroom, because the lunchroom is everyone all together. You don't see who's it coming from. And when you see when you see it's from this room, that room, these boys from this room, they're the ones that are lighting. So something to it. Who is the one doing it? And therefore, a lot of times you'll see in most places, the bachrim in dorms light in their room windows more than the boys who light in the lunchroom, because they want to let people know, I'm also lighting. Who? Me, that I'm living in this room. Similarly, if let's say you go to a simcha, Baruch Hashem, someone's getting married, Shabbat Sheva Brachot, or something else. And so what they do is they bring all the families together to a hall or something, to a big house, and everyone has the meals of Shabbat all together. And sleeping quarters, each family try to organize apartments. This family will sleep in this apartment, this family in this apartment. So where you light, the same idea. If everyone's going to light in the hall that they rented for the Shabbat Sheva Brachot, everyone's eating there, let's say there's 20 families there. So who's lighting these candles? Who's lighting those candles? But if you're going to light in the sleeping quarters, if so, they know that this family is staying over here for Shabbat in this sleeping quarters, they're the ones that are lighting. If so, they're giving their portion of, it's me and my family, we are the ones over here are lighting. Another halacha, we all know, there's two minhagim, Ashkenazim, Sfaradim, legabei, there's only the father of the family lights for the whole family, or each one lights by himself. Each one should do like he does. But you should know, if the parents live in a different country, a different time zone, a lot of big rabbis say the right thing is also Sfaradim should light in the dorm where they're staying. Because you want to have the mitzvah where your father's lighting in a different country in the States or somewhere else, but it's a 7-hour difference. When he's lighting, but it's not lighting time already, so next morning already could be, you know what I mean? So it's very important, guys over here, that even if his parents are lighting Chanukah candles in the States or something, you should also light over here. Also Ashkenazim, also Sfaradim, according to a lot of rabbis. If it's difficult for him, and there are rabbis that say Sfaradim are not obligated, you can't force it, but it's better, but it's okay if not, but it's a good idea, give a shekel or something to a roommate who is lighting to double check, to make sure they're doing the mitzvah and so on. Another big issue in these halachot is when you go away for Shabbat, but you don't live there, you cannot light over there. You're not living there. You're not expressing that you are living there. It's not you. You're not living there. It's not the place you're living. And if so, you're not doing anything. Because no one knows, what do you mean you? Who are you? A guest for one supper. If you're at least living there for the day, so you're living here for the day. But just a supper is not going to be, that's my place. It's not my place. I'm only eating a sandwich with someone. I'm not living even for one day. So that's not good. So what do I do? So let's see. If a person is going away for Shabbat, if he's going to someone in Jerusalem, the smartest and best thing would be, if it's not too hard, to light within an hour and 5 minutes of the Shabbat, of the Shkia. You know why? Because really you live over here, and if you light over here, so you have your mitzvah in the place you're living. And within an hour and 5 minutes, it's called Miplaga Mincha, and now the Plaga Mincha and the calendar is about an hour and 5 minutes in this time of the year. So if you're able to light hour and 5 minutes approximately before the Shkia, you could light in the door where you sleep all the time. If it's going to be difficult for you, no problem. So then just light by the one you're going away for Shabbos. If you feel uncomfortable doing so, just give him a shekel or ask him to please let you just pick up the oil if you could. Light also for me. That with the owner of the house you went for Shabbos, where he's lighting, he should be lighting for you too. But what's the connection? See, it's kedai. You should buy a bit of the oil. Give him a shekel, half a shekel, or take the oil, pick it up a bit. That by this you're expressing that it's yours and so on. I see it's late. No? Said it? So maybe let's take another one or two things yet. In Chanukah, as we saw, it's a time of expressing our goodwill. If it's time of expressing the goodwill, if so the idea has to be that learning more Torah, that's what we see in the Mishnah Berurah. It's important to have parties and sing and have a good time. Not only because it's very important to be a happy, jolly guy, very important, but also to express thank you, Hashem, Todah Rabbah. We're so thankful to you, Hashem. Express I'm happy and I appreciate. It's saying a lot. But not only parties. It has to also be a chizuk, also, and finding some wonderful time to enjoy, as we saw earlier, enjoying the learning. When you enjoy the learning, we just saw before that the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu often heard the voice in the Bet Midrash of Rabbi Shimon 2,000 years ago. It's exactly what's happening now. And this is what's going to happen before Mashiach comes. And we see it, the way to take care, we have to really try is to enjoy our learning, to enjoy it. In the Chanukah parties, usually they give sufganiyot. What bracha do you make on sufganiyot? What bracha do you make on donuts? You know? Bread is made for satisfaction. It doesn't have such a delicious taste, but it satisfies your stomach. That's bread. Cake is very sweet and delicious. Cake is made to enjoy the taste. The idea of the bread is to satisfy. The idea of cake is to enjoy the taste of while you're eating it. So let's say you have cake and cookies. What's it there for? To enjoy the taste. Otherwise you have a piece of bread. So when you eat cake and cookies, you make a borei minei mezonot and ala michya. If you have it in a meal, for dessert, you have cake and cookies for dessert. So, just a minute. If you have also baked goods, and also with a meal, let's say you have a mezonos roll, or you have some other kind of mezonot, that you're eating with a meal, expressing, I am eating this to be satisfied. Have chicken, salads, who knows what, and some kind of mezonos roll, or some kind of berekes, and some other kind of mezonot, baked mezonot goods. So I'm also having a chicken dinner. Instead of bread, I'm being satisfied also with the berekes. I'm being satisfied together with the chicken. I'm also satisfying myself with some kind of a cake and cookies of some kind, crackers. If it's a sufficient amount, so much of the mezonot, so much of the baked goods of mezonot, so much of it, if it be bread, it'll be the right amount. This is the amount of bread with such a meal. This is the amount of bread. Hashem is just not having that amount of berekes, that amount with a mezonos roll. Instead of a hamotzi roll, a mezonot roll. It says on it that the blessing is mezonot. But it's really, I'm eating as bread. It's a replacement for the bread. So I'm not eating for the sweet. I'm trying to enjoy my maximum of my meal with a good taste. But I'm doing it to satisfy my stomach. Take a look. I'm having the right amount of a mezonot roll together with the meal. So I'm showing I'm doing it not just for taste, I'm doing it to satisfy. If so, just a minute, you're going into a big problem. According to the Mishnah Berurah, all of a sudden it'll become Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Why? If it's mizanot. Why should all of a sudden become hamotzi lechem min haaretz? Because the whole reason I make a borei minei mizanot instead of hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Why do I do this? Because I'm eating it for the good, delicious taste. I'm not doing it for satisfaction. Once I'm proving on myself, I'm eating with a chicken dinner. I'm showing you, I'm having so much of it, like I have bread. If so, I'm showing I'm eating for satisfaction. Says the Mishnah Berurah, says the Magen Avraham. If so, I'm showing I'm doing it for satisfaction. For satisfaction. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. So, it's a big problem. But there are opinions on hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Therefore, the best smart thing would be the mezanot, finish up, make borei minei mezanot, eat the mezanot roll or whatever it is, the borekes, make a bracha on that afterwards, ala mechia v'chal, the blessing of after eating, and then I finished my first meal. Now I got the potatoes and the chicken, the salads, as a whole new beginning. I did it together, expressing that it's satisfaction. I did not expressing as bread. I broke it off. First the mizanot, and I'm finished with that. Now I go at the next stage, the next step of the chicken, you know? So I took care of the problem. Oh, so just a minute. If so, what about sufganiyot? Donuts. It's a bit different. Why is it different, sufganiyot? It's not baked. It's a deep fry. The whole problem is when really cake and cookies is bread, it's with a lot of taste, but it's baked, it's bread, but it has a lot of taste. So am I eating it to satisfy myself? Am I eating it to make it be delicious and sweet? It matters, with the meal, without the meal, it makes problems. But just a minute, here it's not really baked. It's not really baked, it's a deep fry. Therefore, having a donut with the meal, mitzad halacha, doesn't make you problems, because no way is it called bread. It's not even baked. It's not a sweet bread, a delicious cinnamon, cocoa tasting, sugar tasting bread. So mitzad halacha is a super tzaddik to be careful also over here, bread, split up in two. But here mitzad halacha, it doesn't make problems. It's not a baked thing. Okay, it's really late now. I just want to tell you a small story. Some of us, I know, already heard it from me, but I see there's a lot of new faces. A small story and I'll finish. Since we spoke about the different difficulties and the way to overcome is having a good will and to keep trying and not to break. I say a lot of times this story, and I see a lot of new faces, I'm going to say the story again. Okay, so please forgive me, those who already heard the story. A nice parable. A king had an only daughter. He's looking for a future son-in-law, the future king. So he needs a king that's not going to break on the way. He needs, if someone that when the economy goes bad, so he surrenders. When the enemy comes, he just surrenders. It's not good. Who's going to hold the whole nation together? You need someone, even the difficulty, he's not going to break. He's going to fight it out, as they say, without breaking on the way. No. So how's he going to know if the guy's a strong guy or he's a weakling that gives up in the middle? So you know what? I'm going to make a building 100 floors high with a bunch of metal sticks sticking out of the wall. I'm going to wait on the 100th floor, and whoever dares doesn't give up in the middle, climbing up to the 100th floor, so he's going to be the future. He's going to be my son-in-law. He's going to be the future king. A bunch of guys started climbing up. 10 floors, 15 floors, they look down. It's quite scary. And every time, at the almost slide, everyone's roaring away. Ambulances waiting down there, holding these big things that they shouldn't crash to the floor in case he falls. And scary as it goes. The guys are climbing up 20 floors. And the sticks are becoming shorter and shorter and shorter as it goes. Almost everyone gave up. 20th floor, 30th floor. It's too scary over here. Every time someone starts to slide, the whole public downstairs is all, roaring away. Ambulances are waiting. And then there's 2 guys left, then there's 1 guy left. The 40th floor, 50th floor. If the king says I could, I guess I could. I'm going to just keep trying. Problem is, after 50 floors, he's getting so short, he can barely hold with 3 fingers. That's really scary. It's really dangerous too, you know? In the meantime, he's getting high up. You see a lot other people downstairs, like little ants. Everyone can barely see him. Everyone's screaming, everyone's frantic. The guy's about to crash down. He sees, though, in a couple of floors, now he's high, could see, there's no metal sticks over there at all. There is no metal sticks in a couple of floors. How are we supposed to climb the wall? Not a fly, you know? So what do? Came a crane. Crane pulls up and has like these tweezer pieces, catches them under his shoulders, pulls him off the building. And he's swaying up there in the wind. It's being blown. Strong winds high up there. And everyone's roaring, everyone's screaming, and it's being pulled up and up and up till the 100th floor, and the king says, Mazel Tov. He's the next king. We see from this as a story, a parable, to understand, to picture to ourselves. The difficulty is just there to show, to prove ourselves that we're not weaklings, that we want to do the right thing. The difficulty is there to overcome. When a person just keeps going, keeps trying, and then everything works out perfectly. It's such a schus to come to you. Really, you see the goodwill on your faces. It's unbelievable. Each time I come again, you know? See how much you want, oh Hashem. Hashem shall help each and every one of you to be big tzaddikim. And whoever's not married yet, Bekov Mamash to be chatanim, with good kalot, to help you to build wonderful Jewish homes, happy homes, good homes of tzaddikim and tzaddikat.